When people come back from a near death experience, they often talk about the light, the peace, the overwhelming love waiting for them on the other side. Beings they met during their near death experience, or NDEs, guides, loved ones, strangers who don't stay behind when the experiencer returns. They follow, they appear, they linger quietly at the edge of waking life, like someone standing just outside a doorway. These aren't ghosts. They're not hallucinations. They're not dreams. They are visitors. And tonight we open the door to their world. I'm Candy, and this is Half Haunted Chronicles. People expect visions during NDEs, but they don't expect them afterward in the kitchen, in the hallway, beside the bed at 3 a.m., in the driver's seat next to them, or reflected faintly in the window. Researchers call these experiences post NDE apparitions, not because they are visual, but because they feel undeniably present. Some experiencers describe them in the same way. It was the same person I met over there. They came back with me. They weren't haunting me. They were watching over me. I don't think they ever left. Some visitors stay for days, some for years, and some appear only once in a moment when they are needed. And some aren't who the experiencer expected. Here are some of those stories when the visitors stepped through. The man at the foot of the bed. A woman named Elena drowned when she was 7. She remembered meeting a tall man in her NDE, not a relative, not a religious figure, just a calm presence, who held her hand and told her she wasn't alone. When she woke in the hospital, the memory faded like a dream. But 2 months later, she woke in the middle of the night and saw him standing at the foot of her bed, not glowing, not floating, just standing, hands clasped, head slightly tilted, as if checking on her. He appeared several times through her childhood, always during illness or fear, before a surgery, the night her parents fought, and the week her grandmother died. He never spoke, he never moved toward her, he never frightened her. He simply watched over her. When Elena turned 32, she had her second near-death experience, a medical complication during childbirth. And there he was again, waiting for her on the other side. She didn't ask who he was, but she already knew. The boy on the staircase. After a cardiac arrest at age 54, a man named Greg began seeing a small boy sitting on the staircase in his home. The boy never looked older than 6, always wore the same old-fashioned suspenders, always sat 3 steps up with his hands folded in his lap. Greg assumed it was a dream until his grandson asked, "Why does the little boy follow you?" No one in the family recognized the child. During his near-death experience, Greg had seen a river and dozens of figures waiting on the bank. One little boy had stepped forward and placed a hand on Greg's arm. He didn't know his name. He didn't know the connection. But when he looked back at his grandson and asked what the boy did, the grandson said, "He just sits with you, like he's making sure you're okay." Greg said, "Maybe he was the part of me that didn't come back the first time." The stranger who delivered the warning. A woman named Janelle had an NDE during a violent allergic reaction. She remembered seeing a stranger on the other side, a woman with short hair and a teal dress who told her, "You need to leave him. You already know why." When Janelle returned, she brushed it off as a symbolic message until the visitor appeared again, this time in her kitchen, this time fully awake. The woman stood beside the counter, same teal dress, same short hair, same urgent expression. She whispered, "Now." A week later, Janelle left her husband. 6 months after that, he was arrested for a domestic violence incident involving another partner. The visitor hasn't appeared again. Janelle says she saved my life twice, once when I died and once when I didn't. The companion in the car. After his NDE, a man named Ruben began seeing a woman in the passenger seat when he drove at night. Never frightening, never talking, just calmly sitting there as if keeping him company. He called her the silent passenger. One night, while driving home on a narrow mountain road, he heard a woman's voice say clearly, "Stop." He hit the brakes. A massive tree crashed into the highway right in front of his bumper. When he looked into the passenger seat, well, you already know, it was empty. He pulled the car over, shaking. He said, "If she hadn't been there, I wouldn't be here." Here are 3 creepy facts to haunt your day. Some returnees physically look young. younger for a short period, skin tone, eyes, posture changing in ways doctors can't explain. A small number of experiencers report ghost memories, moments of seeing things that happened while they were dead. Others describe hearing a faint voice or presence guiding them for months after the revival. This episode is one of my favorites because it challenges the clean lines we try to draw around life and death. Near death experiencers don't talk about visitors with fear, they talk about them the way people talk about old friends they don't fully understand but deeply trust. Visitors aren't hauntings, they're not threats, and they aren't unfinished business. They feel like companions, like reminders that whatever awaits on the other side is invested in us, in our safety, our choices, our growth, and our survival. And maybe that's the strangest part. The other side doesn't always stay there. Sometimes it follows us quietly, gently, and purposefully. Sometimes it stays close because we aren't done here, and sometimes it stays close because it isn't done with us. Tonight, we stepped into the quiet, intimate world of post NDE visitors, the presences that linger, guide, and protect those who cross the threshold. But next time, we explore the shadow side of that connection when the visitors aren't gentle, when the presence isn't comforting, when something crosses through that shouldn't leave. Until then, stay curious and always, always stay haunted.